Hi everyone, I'm Julianne Now, and you're listening to the LadyNowe show, where I feature conscious conversations about health, life, love, cannabis, yoga, spirituality, women's empowerment, and so much more. I believe a holistic life starts from the inside and is reflected like a movie projector out into your outside world. This is also a space where it's like having your best friend answer all your questions while sharing her best insights all in one. I'm so happy to have you here. And if you want more free content, mentoring options, or just to reach out and say hi, head to my website at LadyNowe.com.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Today's episode is on juicing. So if you've been following my work and the things I tend to talk about and share and love, one of the things I am obsessed with is juicing. And I don't use the word obsessed lightly. I literally juice weekly, sometimes every day. Sometimes I'm doing 2 days juice cleanses. Sometimes I'm just adding a juice or two in my day, but I'm juicing every single week. And I know that if I don't have a juice, after like a couple days, I can feel it. Like my digestion is kind of sluggish. My stomach isn't fully functioning the same way it normally would. And I just can feel it even in my skin. My skin doesn't look as bright. I may be a little more sluggish. And juicing has been a huge part of my healing journey. It's healed a lot with my digestion. And when we were vegan for a year last year, it was a great add-on when you're looking for a snack or you're slowly transitioning from not being vegan to vegan. It really helps with cravings, or anytime, let's say I used to eat a certain meal because I was feeling stressed out, but at the time I didn't know that that was why I was eating that meal. I was eating it because that's what I wanted. So when you kind of start to change your lifestyle and the choices you make, you start to notice, like, why was I choosing that food that maybe wasn't feeling so right for me? And a lot of the awarenesses came up from this change of choosing food for health, for longevity, for healing, for an experience, for a journey, instead of choosing whatever I wanted because that's what I felt like eating at the time. And that never works because you're either avoiding an emotion or you're avoiding a situation, or maybe you're having anxiety, or maybe you're overwhelmed. And instead of looking at your life and questioning, why do I have this anxiety? Is there ways for me to treat these anxiety symptoms in a healthier way that's actually going to produce results for this change for a long time, not just within this quick moment? And I found juicing. I first started reading about it years ago when I was changing from using, I guess, more pharmaceuticals and doing what the doctors were saying was right for me. I was sick a lot as a kid, and you can read some of this on my blogs and other shows, but just like a mini recap is I was sick a lot as a kid, sick as a teenager, youth, and I mean like whooping cough and asthma and sinusitis, sinus infections, yeast infections so bad that skin would peel off my body. Thrush, constant cold sores, canker sores, some chest infections that I can't even pronounce, and I had vocal cord issues, so I would lose my voice for a few days at a time. I had cysts in my vocal cords. I had nodules. I had scar tissue that wouldn't go away. And it was just one thing after another. And I was sick a lot. A lot of my life I was sick. So when I started to get older and was able to start choosing for myself, because I'm from a small town, and you just do what you think is right. And my parents did amazing. Like, they were always taking me to all the specialists, no matter where the specialist was, taking time off work and driving everywhere and hooking me up to these mask machines they'd send me home with, or whatever the antibiotics were. Or if they were like, she shouldn't drink milk, then they're trying to get me off milk. And, really just always doing what the doctors are telling them to do, because that's all to do. And my mom started buying some books that were about alternative healing and medicine, because my grandmother is a huge advocate for alternative medicine and healing, because she's like me, she's very sensitive. So even while I was sick and trying to get better, I would be taking these pharmaceuticals and other pills, and I sometimes would feel worse. Like, one time I discovered I have an allergy to sulfa in medication. So I was actually getting sicker and worse because we didn't know that I had that allergy, and it was in a lot of the things that I was taking. I also have become immune to a lot of different antibiotics, and there's actually some that I can't take at all, even some cold medications that you just buy at the pharmacy, because it makes me loopy or sicker. And again, there's probably a fancy word for what that means when you can't take those things, but I just know they didn't always work for me, and it takes a toll on your body. So I've also had a lot of gut health from taking all of these medications. And so my mom was starting to read these books, and I was getting more curious as to what are alternative and integrative healings. And as I became a teenager and I moved out of my small town into Halifax, and met some new friends at college, and they're telling me about acupuncture, and I'm like, what is acupuncture? And they're like, we think you'd love yoga. And I'm like, I don't think I'd like yoga. And lo and behold, I go to a yoga class and I love it so much, and now I teach yoga, and I could talk about yoga forever. So just luckily, meeting the right people and getting out of the zone of kind of that limitation, to then get to move somewhere else and starting to try going to yoga and realizing really what stresses on the body using acupuncture. One of the jobs that I had, so when I was going through college, I was babysitting, looking after people's kids on the side, because I'm making cash so I can still get my full student loan, because my family's on the lower middle class income. So I was still able to get my full student loan and work a little on the side. So I was mainly working to buy food and go to an acupuncturist or some kind of natural therapy. And when I actually started working full time and I had medical coverage, I would use the amount that I could each year to go see this Chinese doctor that I found on Google when I was living in Halifax. And that really jump started my healing in a whole different level. I was using herbs and cupping, plus the acupuncture, plus the chiropractor, and just adding all these herbs and things, my vocal cords started to heal themselves. I also was noticing other changes in my body because I was becoming more in tune with my body, and I just kept on that journey, and it has changed my life. It's changed my healing, my energy, what I can do. Before, there was a lot I couldn't do. People can go out and party all night, and I'm like, if I did that, my immune system would literally be so shot, or I wouldn't have a voice. So I just wouldn't even be able to do that. If I'm going to a concert, I can't scream and yell the whole time. I can go and enjoy the concert. Like, so just different things like that where like someone doesn't have to think about that. Those are things I'd have to think about. And now I may still go to a concert and I can sing most of the songs, maybe not screaming because my vocal cords and just the way my voice is. I don't have a super loud projecting voice like some people do. But just being able to change what I was doing before that wasn't working to then find that what is and does work. And I just kept going with that and became more and more curious. So I started reading books, got more into spirituality, found Reiki, so many things. That's why I'm always talking about all of the things, because I really believe that pairing so many things together is the answer, because you're creating such a solid foundation plus expansion for you, your growth, your healing, your mind, your body, your spirit. And so about 3 years ago, when me and my partner got together, he had a juicer. And I had read a lot about juicing, had never done it. I've made smoothies tons of times. And he's like, I have this. I really want to juice, but I haven't actually ever used it. And I'm like, let's bring this inside from the shed and we are going to start juicing. And at first I had like no idea what to put together, because I'm like, I don't want it to taste gross. I want it to be that I can actually enjoy tasting it. My partner is going to enjoy tasting it, So I started experimenting. I'd put strawberries mixed with orange and then add some carrots, and I knew kind of about from that acidic ratio from reading a lot of Chris Carr's work. If you've read anything, she was diagnosed with incurable cancer. So she was given like a short period of time to live, but then she went vegan and cut out a ton of chemicals, and she started juicing and doing the smoothies. And she is now 10 years or more. Yes, still has the cancer in her body, but is thriving and living. So I started doing the juicing, and then I started reading different recipes and books and just seeing about like more that ratio, because sometimes they'll say more vegetables than fruit, because fruit can be acidic. So if you're just putting in oranges and lemons and limes and then berries and all that, and you don't kind of have the balance of adding some carrots, or the craze right now is the celery juice. And I know the medical medium actually read his first book where I first learned about the celery juice, and he recommends, and he's a channeler from Spirit. I also Spirit channel, and his message is taking the celery juice just by itself. And then, of course, you can juice other things later on. But first in the morning, just the celery juice. I haven't done it. I want to, though. And I want to, like, document it. Like, I want to do it for, like, a good 2 weeks, and then 3 weeks, and then a month, and just document the changes. So that's something that I'm going to do with curiosity for myself, but also to share with others, because so many people are wondering, like, is this real? And in Chris Carr's book, she talks a lot about it too. So over time, naturally, your body doesn't want a ton of acidic things at one time. Like, you'll feel like people who drink wine and things like that, like, you ever notice how sometimes it can almost burn your stomach, or you'll get canker sores and stuff, and that's because of like the acidicness in it. And there's some foods and stuff, and that's a whole other conversation, or it's not something that I hugely focus on. But you'll know if you're making juice and you're finding it's like too acidic, then you just add some coconut water or add more veggies, and you'll find a balance. There are tons of recipes out there. My goal is to create like a juicing package. So it would walk you through a 2-day cleanse, the benefits, recipes, the amount of water. And yeah, that's on my list of some things to do, to also create and produce into the world. So keep your eye out for that. But I wanted to come and make this episode because as I'm talking more and more about juicing and alternative healing and integrative healings and therapies, I have been getting lots of great feedback. Like, I've always gotten good feedback. I've done juice cleanses. Like, I've made them in my kitchen for people and physically brought them to them. And they have nothing but good things to say. Or any protocols I recommend as a coach or as an intuitive. Anything I recommend, I've always had good feedback. So someone through a friend got a juicer and then wanted to start juicing. So I reached out to her and said if she ever had any questions or needed anything. And a couple weeks later, she messaged me again and said that people were actually giving her a bit of a hard time. And I couldn't understand what she meant. I'm like, what, juicing? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, what? What are they saying? And she was getting a lot of feedback that people are saying that it doesn't work, that you actually gain weight because you're just drinking sugar from all the fruit. And they had a lot of negative things to say, and that really hurt my heart. And I fully believe that everyone's entitled to their belief, to how they feel, and that's great. You know, I fully believe and trust in all of that. And if you've ever tried juicing in an actual right way, maybe you're just making a combination of stuff that doesn't work for you, or maybe you have an allergy to one of the vegetables or something, or the fruit, I don't know. But juicing in the way my body feels and my deepest knowing of knowing, but also experience, that juicing can only do good. So if you find that it isn't doing good, well, maybe we just need to talk about what that means. Like, are you going to the bathroom more? And you think that that's not good? Well, that's actually a good thing, because you're supposed to be going at least 2 to 3 times a day. And if you haven't been going a lot, juicing is going to help you go. And it's going to help with your digestion as well. If you're getting a few breakouts, that's actually a good thing. Or you're getting stuffed up the first day or so. And again, that may seem bad, but it's actually a good thing. It's because your cells inside your body, your cellular intelligence, is literally transforming, and it's detoxing for you. So that's why you want to drink lots of water too, because yeah, you could get stuffed up from the toxins. You're just releasing it. Same as sometimes when you get a massage. And after that hour, you stand up and you kind of feel stuffed up in the face. So that's just from all moving the toxins around. But then you drink water and you go about your day and it starts to go away. So for me, I would be curious about as to what it is that you feel isn't working. And that's something I would love to talk more about with someone. But specifically saying that you're going to gain weight from so much sugar in the juicing, I am here to say that that is not true. I know that there are a lot of people out there that actually kind of really bash fruit, like the candida thing, saying not to eat fruit because of the sugar, the natural sugars are going to add to the candida. Again, that doesn't feel true to me in my heart, in my body, in my soul. I don't believe that. I've never believed that. I do not believe that a fruit and a vegetable are going to cause you any illness or make anything worse for you. Unless you have an allergy to that and your body's reacting in a certain way, well then I know someone that can help you actually clear allergies and you may be able to eat that again. But that's besides the point. The sugar in fruit is natural. And I believe you can eat as much as you want of fruit. Yes, also eat veggies, but that's just because you want to have a balanced diet and because vegetables are so darn good for you too. The medical medium says the exact same thing. So like I said, I struggled with candida. Like I had skin peeling off of my body, and I would have it so bad and on so many different medications and so many treatments. And this was over years. I don't just mean like one time, I mean like years. I really don't believe that fruit caused that, or the sugar in that caused that. I believe, yes, white sugar, that's fake and that isn't good for you, and sugary syrups and drinks. No, I don't think any of that sugar is good for you. I just mean the regular sugar that is in naturally producing fruit from the earth in the world is not causing you harm. And I searched for information to back up my belief, because I just would not believe that when doctors told me or other places were advertising that. And what I found from researching and reading is that companies are actually getting paid, and writers and journalists get paid by other companies to write things like that. And then the consumer or someone is going to read that and believe that that's true. And everyone's entitled to their beliefs. But I really feel sad in my body and in my heart, in my soul, when someone is saying they don't want to juice because it's going to be bad for them, when I just want to look at them dead in the eyes and be like, no, it's going to transform your life. Like, it's going to be so great. And so many other beliefs adding that juicing. Excuse me. So I just really wanted to stress that. And the only other person that I can fully say is also on board with like any reading research I've done, besides like a lot of my friends and naturopathic doctors that are good friends with, they also will say that that's not true about fruit. But I mean, like actual printed books and things, the medical medium stresses that so much. And he really busts through like a lot of myths that I was like, oh, yes, I really didn't believe that when those people were saying those things. But it's so nice to hear that someone else is talking about this. I just don't want people not eating fruit because they think the sugar's bad. And I'm here to say that that's not true. And there's lots of reading and scripture out there and literature and stuff that back that up. And please keep eating fruits and vegetables. That's the best thing you could literally do for yourself. And another question I always get is, what's the difference between juicing and blending? And like I said, I do both. Like I drink a smoothie every day that I use in my magic bullet, but I also love juicing. So I found an article by Chris Carr, and I thought I would just read a couple sentences from it because I really like how she explained it. So she says, juicing extracts the liquid from the fruits and vegetables, leaving the fiber behind. By removing the fiber, all of the nutrients in the plant's juice, vitamins, minerals, enzymes, instantly flood our bodies with goodness. Just think of the added volume of veggies you can pack in your belly. Even those of us with the heartiest of appetites would find it challenging to consume the same amount of raw vegetables and fruits with a fork. Juicing also gives your digestive system a little rest, and since your body works hard on your behalf 24/7, it's nice to give it some R&R. But I thought fiber was good for you. Yes, you're right. If you're upgrading your overall diet to include whole foods, you'll be getting plenty of it. Got digestive problems? Juicing is a great option for folks who love to eat plant-rich diets, but whose digestive systems are too sensitive to handle lots of fiber. If that's you, juicing ensures you can enjoy the benefits of boatloads of awesome produce without suffering any tummy troubles. And that's kind of what I meant about why it's so good for your digestive system, because it does give it that rest, and it's good to have smoothies so you can allow your body to get those extra nutrients and the fibers. And then it's also good to juice because now you have more space and relaxation for your body. If you ever have any questions about juicing, you can email me info at LadyNowe, LadyNowe.com. You can always go on my website, and I really suggest that you look into juicing more and start adding juice to your life. And please don't stop eating fruit. Again, unless you can't because you're allergic to it, or because you have a colonoscopy coming up and you're not supposed to have seeds for 5 days before it, or it interacts with some medication that your doctor has prescribed for you. But again, maybe that medication that you're on, you can come off of it and use cannabis. So that's something else you can ask me about. So there's just so many other ways of doing things. And I really want you to start asking, what do you believe? Do you believe what you've read? Do you really tune in and say, like, I don't really know if that's true? Really find what you believe and what works for you. Like, you need to be your own advocate, but also don't fall for the things that people are always printing out there. Really look into it and you make your own judgment. And happy juicing.